All right, let's talk about one of the biggest headaches in modern software, building distributed apps that just work, no matter what you throw at them. We're going to dive into how you can build truly bulletproof applications. I mean, just think about this for a second. What if you could write your code, your core business logic, and know for a fact that it would finish exactly one time, even if servers crash, networks fail, or the whole system restarts? That's the incredible promise we're going to unpack today. But hey, before we get to the solution, you gotta appreciate the problem, right? Why is this stuff so hard to begin with? It all comes down to what I like to call the distributed systems headache. Oh man, we've all been there. A customer gets hit with a double charge because some payment request retried. A user's shopping cart just vanishes into thin air after a server reboot. You end up spending like half your time writing complicated, fragile error handling code instead of the actual feature. It's just a mess. Okay, so how do we fix this chaos? Well, the antidote is this really powerful concept at the very heart of Restate. It's called durable execution. So here's the big idea. You can think of Restate as this kind of transactional memory for your code. As your function runs, Restate is behind the scenes journaling every important step. So if something goes wrong, your code doesn't start all over from the beginning. Nope. It just picks up right where it left off, state and all. And this is where the magic really happens. This whole approach leads to the ultimate benefit. You get to write your code as a simple, straightforward set of steps, and Restate makes an ironclad guarantee that it will run to completion exactly once. No more double payments, no more lost state. It just works. Now, to make this happen, Restate doesn't just give you one magic wand. It gives you a whole toolkit. Because it's not a one-size-fits-all world, right? You get 3 different types of services you can build with, and each one is designed for a very specific job. Let's break this down, because it's super clear. You've got your basic services, which are your stateless workhorses, perfect for simple API calls or gluing things together. Then you have virtual objects. These are for when you need state, like a user profile or a shopping cart. They give you a single writer per key, so you never have to worry about race conditions. And finally, you've got workflows for the really big stuff. Those long-running processes, like an order fulfillment, that could take days and even involve a human step. So this gives us a really simple rule of thumb to follow. You start with the simple, stateless basic services. When you need to model an entity with state, you reach for a virtual object. And when you're orchestrating a process that needs to survive for a long, long time, that's a job for a workflow. Simple as that. Okay, so to get this incredible exactly once guarantee, you do have to play by a few rules. Think of it like a contract you make with the Restate runtime. You follow these simple rules, and in return, you get bulletproof code. First up, let's talk about something as simple as time. If you use a standard time.sleep in your code and your process dies, guess what? That timer is gone. Poof. But if you use restate.sleep, Restate records that timer in its journal. So when your code resumes, it knows exactly how much longer it needs to wait. It survives. Now this one is the big one. This is the key. If you call an external API directly and your code retries, it's going to call that API again. And that's how you accidentally charge a credit card twice. Instead, you wrap that call in restate.run. Restate runs it once, saves the result to its journal, and if it ever has to replay that step, it just gives you the saved result back without actually calling the API again. It's basically idempotency, but you get it for free. It sounds kind of weird, right? But even something as basic as a random number can break everything. Why? Well, a normal random number generator gives you a different number every time you call it. So if your code replays, it gets a new number, and your logic could go down a completely different path. With restate.rand, it generates the random number once, journals it, and gives you that exact same number on every retry. This keeps your execution totally consistent. Okay, let's be honest. Trying to remember all these little rules while you're deep in the zone writing code, yeah, that can be tough. And that's why the next step in this evolution is to use frameworks built on top of Restate. Frameworks that make it almost impossible to get it wrong. I mean, this quote from the Go framework source code just says it all perfectly. The whole point is to enforce these best practices for you automatically, so you can stop worrying about the plumbing and just focus on writing your actual application. And the way it does this is with a really smart feature called a framework policy. You can set it to strict for production, so if you accidentally make a direct API call, your code fails instantly, which is what you want. But when you're developing, you can just set it to warn. It'll just log a friendly message telling you what you did wrong so you can fix it without crashing everything. It's like having a helpful guardrail. So what about those really tricky, complex transactions? Like a trip booking flow where you book a flight, then a hotel, then a car. What if the car rental fails? How do you safely undo the flight and the hotel? For this, Restate leans on a classic, battle-tested pattern called sagas. And the flow is just brilliant. Here's how it works. Before you even try to charge that credit card, you first tell the system how to refund it. You log the undo step first. Then you execute the actual charge. If that step, or any step after it, fails for good, the system just goes back through its log and automatically runs all those undo steps in reverse order. It safely rolls back the entire transaction for you. All right, we've covered a lot of ground. So when you zoom out, what's the big picture? What's the main thing you should really walk away with from all this? It really boils down to this. First, durable execution is your ultimate safety net. It makes sure your code finishes, and it finishes exactly once. Second, you've got a specialized toolkit, so pick the right service for the job. Third, the key to safety is wrapping any of that non-deterministic code. And finally, use the frameworks to put all of this on autopilot. It's really a clear path from the chaos we started with to building with total confidence. The tools are here, the patterns are proven, so really the only question left is, are you ready to stop worrying about every little thing that can fail and just start building applications that are truly fundamentally resilient?